Thanks for checking out Simplify Your Site, an unscripted show wherein I document a different tool, tip, or technique for finally taking control of that website. This is the first episode in that series, and I'm really excited to bring this show to you. I am Anthony Wagner, and I've been a WordPress designer for over a decade, and that is a long time. So I really enjoy working with WordPress, and I'm excited to bring these techniques to you. Today, we're going to talk about taking backups of your site using one of my favorite plugins called Duplicator Pro. No, this is not a free tool, although I think there's a free version. We're going to find out. I don't remember. Remember, this is unscripted. So before we jump in, I just wanted to remind you that all of the techniques in these videos are built on WordPress, and my two favorite tools for building on WordPress are SiteGround for hosting and Divi for design. If you want quick, affordable hosting, SiteGround is really my favorite. I've gone through so many different hosting platforms, and SiteGround is by far the best. And if you want incredible, robust, yet simple design tools, Divi is the theme for you. The links to both of those are in the description. Okay, enough of that junk. Let's move into talking about WordPress. So Duplicator is this plugin here that is great. I use it to back up my stuff, and I haven't set it up in a while. So you're going to be able to see me do this totally organically. The only thing I've done so far, I have this demo site that I've been using to record my course set up, and on this demo site, there really isn't anything. And I was getting ready to do a video on site maintenance, and I was going to say, like, you need to check your backups. And I was like, maybe backup should come first. So let's install Duplicator. And actually what I've already done, the only thing I've done in prep is that I've, look at this. I deleted it. So let's come in here, and I'm going to download the files. So I'm in my account. You can see how much I paid. I actually upgraded to a full gold license. So let me show you. It is pretty expensive. I will say that much. So if you come to Duplicator Pro, I actually spent this for the full license, but you could just spend $59 for a year, and it's totally worth it because it's peace of mind. I guess I probably should say, why do you want to take backups of your site, right? It lives online. What's the value? So there's a couple. First of all, the value is really, like any backup, having a copy ready to go when, not if, when disaster strikes. There's lots of reasons, a lot of which you can't actually anticipate. Having a backup and having it in an offsite location, meaning if you're hosting on SiteGround, for instance, SiteGround will take backups for you. So let me actually go into the site tools, and I'll show you. Like, SiteGround has a backup thing. I think, is it under security? Yep. And it's taking backups for me, which are great, right? I can use these to quickly restore my site right here on a daily basis. It's taking them for me. So why would I have a separate backup tool? Well, what happens if your SiteGround account gets suspended, right? What happens if SiteGround goes down and you're out a bunch of money because your SiteGround hosting is down, or any hosting that you're using is down? It happens. What happens if they're out for a week, right? And you've got a big thing coming up and you need to quickly get your site back online. Having a backup inside of your hosting account, big no-no. You don't want to do that. I mean, yes, it's good to have, because if I screw up my website, right, if I make a change and can't figure out how to fix it, I could always restore back to one of these pretty quickly by coming in here and just choosing restore. And that would do that for things that I create or that are actually on the site side. But for problems that arise with the hosting platform itself, something gets corrupted, your whole directory gets, whatever it is, you'll be out. You need to have a second backup taken off-site. This is what a plugin like Duplicator will do. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to come in and download this really fast, but I'm going to pause the video when I do it because I don't feel like going in and blurring stuff. Let me see if I can just do this by clicking here. Oh, I can. Okay, there we go. I downloaded it. So I have the gold license now. If I were to click on the other spot, it would show my license key. So I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do now is I am going to come back to WordPress, come to plugins. This one that needs to be updated is really bothering me. So I'm just going to hit update now because having those outstanding bugs me. I'm going to choose add new. upload, and then you can see here it's still got that blue ring around it in Chrome, and that means that it's scanning. It's see how it's changing right now down here at the bottom? That means that it's finally done. When it's got that blue ring around it, it means that Chrome is still doing its thing, scanning all the files. These plugins, they're small in terms of file size, but they have a lot of files, so it takes time to scan. So I'm going to just drag that here. Doing this, dragging from the downloads on top of the button, is a thing you can do in Chrome. And I think when you're in Firefox, actually, I know there's a little download arrow here. You can click that download arrow and drag as well. It's just a shortcut. And you'll see how it populates there. Hit install. And it will do its thing. Hit activate. Now, what I don't remember is if it's activated by default. Remember, I'm doing this. I haven't done it in a while. So you're getting like the real stuff. Let's see, Duplicator now includes, okay, that's all fine. So let's come into Duplicator Pro. Let me just check under the settings. This is what I would do. I would check the license right off. Yeah, see, it's saying it's invalid. It doesn't have a license. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my dashboard. I'm going to choose the subscriptions, and I'm going to put that license in. I'm going to pause the video while I do this, though, because I just don't feel like having to go in and blur stuff, and it's really, I'm just copying a key out. So hold on one second. I'll be right back. Okay, you see how lazy I am? I actually went in and the key is behind here, but it doesn't hide it. So, oh, you know what I could have done? This little thing right here. So let me pause again. I can put the password in and then I don't have to use this notepad thing. I really don't feel like going in and blurring things. Hold on one sec. Okay, what did I do? So I grabbed my key from my dashboard and I pasted it in here, and then it's got a key visibility thing. So if you're using this to install on client sites, you can put in a password of your choosing that will hide that key so that the client then can't go through and mess with it and put it on other sites and give it to anybody. So yeah, but now you see I have the full activated license because I paid for it, and I'm gonna close out of that bar at the bottom, and we're good to go with actually setting things up. So the reason I like Duplicator is because it creates a very simple workflow and allows me to back up my site really easily. So what I'm actually going to do is under packages, this is where your actual backups would live. But what I want to do is set up storage offsite. So I need to add a new storage provider. I use Google Drive. You could use whatever provider you want. But yeah, we're going to use Google Drive, and let's just do that. So I'm going to choose add new, and then I'm going to call it Google Drive. And then we're going to come here and choose Google Drive. And then what it's going to do is it's asking me in my Google Drive folder, where do I want to put this, right? So I'm just going to choose Duplicator Backups is fine. It's just asking the default, and then it's putting in the domain for my site. So this is my demo site. If I had another, I do have other sites. So I have my Courage and Grow site, it will just have a subfolder in that Duplicator Backups folder. And then what it's going to ask me to do is ensuring that I'm logged in, like my browser is logged in with that account. If not, I'd recommend doing this step inside of an incognito or an in private window. The reason for that is you want to make sure you're logged into the right account. I've actually done in the past where I set this up and I was logged in with my personal email address instead of like the business one I was using for a client, and it actually put all of the backups in my personal thing, which is not a big deal, but obviously you want to fix that, and it just saves time if you're not logged in. So to do that, just as a quick aside, I would hit, this is Chrome again, so I would hit Control-Shift-N on a Windows computer, it's Command-Shift-N on a Mac, and then I would log in, I would actually go to the site, log in to the back end of the dashboard of my site, and then do these steps, so that there's no chance I'm logged in with the wrong account. In this case, this is the account I want to be logged in with, the Courage and Grow one, so I'm good. I'm just going to hit connect, and then I'm going to hit authorize, and then I'm going to choose the account, hit allow, copy that code, which I did all this work to not have to blur things, but I'm going to have to anyway, so that's okay. I'm going to paste the code in and hit finalize. And that's it. Like, it's so simple. It used to be a lot more complicated, but now it's really simple. And then what I would come here and do is I would come to schedules, hit create new, and I would choose daily. I would make it daily. Change the storage. The template is fine. I'm fine with what it is. Choose daily, so it would set that up. And then choose the start time. And what you want to make sure, it says current server timestamp is 8:28 a.m. at 7:39. Yeah, make sure this lines up with your current clock, because if not, your website might be in the wrong time zone. Quick aside, if it does not line up, if this time isn't the same time as it is, all you have to do is come under settings, and I believe it's general. The way that I did that, by the way, is when I open this new tab, it's just a little shortcut I use. I hovered over the thing and middle mouse clicked with my mouse. So here, let me pull myself up full screen so you can see this really fast. The mouse has this middle button. If you use that middle button to click on stuff, it opens it in a new tab. So that's what I did there. I can show you again. And I also closed out of it the same way. Schedules, settings, general. And then the time zone chills out right here, time zone. And you want to set it to your local time, or I think you can actually do the universal time code plus or minus. So if you can do it that way. Mine is Detroit. That's where I live. So that's all set. And that should, if you come back here, refresh, it should fix it. So now if you tell it start time in your local time or whatever time zone is most popular for you. So if you're selling products or your site is most popular on the West Coast of the United States and they're in Pacific time, but your site is in Eastern time like this is, you're going to want to adjust for that. So perhaps the time that you're thinking isn't the best. Just take those things into consideration. I'm going to choose 3 a.m., choose enable, hit save. So now, it's wanting a template. See, messed up. So just choose a default. But note this thing here, schedule requires web traffic in order to start, blah, blah, blah. If the start time is 6, but you don't get any traffic till 10, then we'll not build. If you have low traffic, considering a cron job to periodically hit your site, blah, blah, blah. This is something that would actually apply to my site currently. This one right here, because it's just a demo, there is no traffic on it. So I would need to choose this partners thing and see. Now I could probably, let's see. Yeah, using like an uptime tool, right? So Uptime Robot is an example. You could register for an uptime tool, which is just a tool that will check your site periodically to see when if your site is up or down, and it will give you a notification in the way that you choose. So this one, it's free, probably to do like, yeah, it's actually pretty solid. So you could register for this, and that would occasionally send traffic to your site that would, get around this thing. So it requires traffic to build. If you've already got traffic on your site, you can completely ignore this as long as you're getting some traffic daily. So that's a thing. You could also use something like GTmetrix to do a daily report on your site, and that would serve the same purpose. Okay. But you just want to watch out for those times. So if you notice that the site is slow periodically, go into your final Google Drive, into that folder, and see what times are on that. It could be this thing here causing that. I don't know with this tool if you can tell it exactly what time, exactly what time to take to check for the uptime. It says it does 5 minutes, so I would think that it would do it, pretty frequently. So that sounds like it would be something that will work. Let's hit save. And now the schedule is updated, and it should be good to go. So if I come to packages, there shouldn't be anything here. But coming back to schedules, let's run it right now and hit OK. There's very little on this site, so it should not take long at all. And see, it's building the package, and then it's going to put everything together. There's like some couple demo pages and a theme. It really should be pretty quick. And then what it'll do is it'll build it, and now you see it's transferring, and it's already transferred. So if we come over to Google Drive, Duplicator Backups is here. There's the file. There we go. And it's got the right time and everything. These are the files. And then that will take a backup every single day at supposedly 3 a.m. And you should be good to go. That's it. It's so simple to get this scheduled, and it will just run in the background. You don't have to worry about it. If an error happens, you get an email saying like, hey, this thing failed to take a backup. There are a number of reasons. Also, with the storage, I should have mentioned, I skipped over it. It tells you the number of packages to keep. So if you've got a big site, you may want to consider bringing that number down. I really don't think 10 is necessary. That's quite a lot. I mean, it just depends. Like if you're doing a daily backup, how many days do you want to keep? So 10 for a tiny little site, like how big are these files? Tiny, 40 megs. It's not going to take up. I have 15 gigs on a free account. It'll be fine for quite a long time. It'll take 400 megs. times 10, or like 40 times 10, which is 400. You're not going to use that much. But if you've got a big site, you might want to consider bringing that down, because if you hit your limit, that runs into, you run into failed backups. One other thing you could do is you could hit the test connection, which I didn't do when I was saving it, and it will just send a file over just to make sure it works. That's really it. Taking a backup is super simple. Now I have this thing that if I need to, I can restore my site from a thing that has nothing to do. This is a thing I own. It's in a Google folder that has nothing to do with my site. It's an offsite backup. Now I have 2 full backups that take on a daily basis that I don't have to worry about. If something happens, I have double redundancy for my site. For folks that are using, that are building sites that are pretty profitable, you may want to really consider doing this, because, if you run into a situation where your site fails, it can happen to anyone at any time, and having the proper preparation is key. So that's everything for this video. I hope that it's helped you to simplify your site. I would love to hear what you think. You can let me know in the comments, including if you have any suggestions for future content. If you have any questions about your WordPress site, or about Divi, about SiteGround, anything that you could use help answering, I'd love to get those kind of in the queue of videos to create. Also, remember, as I said at the top of this video, to check out SiteGround and Divi. The links are in the description, and if you sign up for the tools using those links, it actually generates a small commission for me, and it won't cost you a penny extra to use those links, but it will help to support me to continue creating these videos, so I greatly appreciate that support. Until next time, I'm Anthony Wagner, and I very much appreciate you for watching. Bye for now.